And welcome in, everybody, whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, or around the world. This is your Wednesday wrap-up. And, of course, I have my man Herb here today. How's it going, man?
It's still too early, but I am surviving. I think that will be my eternal complaint all the time. But
no,
I'm
that
good,
makes
man.
sense. You know, it's funny because, obviously on the West Coast, it's definitely early, right? 6 a.m.
Yes.
I found that since my wife's gone, I'm not drinking coffee in the morning because I'm not wanting to make an entire pot where I'm going to throw half of it away. But I work from home, so there's not a coffee stand in my house either. So I just found that I really haven't been drinking coffee for the last week.
And you're still like chipper and okay with all this? I don't get that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't need it for that. I just like having a warm cup of coffee. Like I like that part of it.
Gotcha.
The caffeine doesn't really do much for me. Like this morning, I woke up at 3 a.m. for absolutely no reason at all. So I just woke up and yeah, so it's dumb. I'm not gonna lie. How's it going, Win?
0 stars, not recommended. What's up, Win?
Yeah. I mean that's kind of the thing, right? So speaking of that 0 stars is apparently what Dion considers CBS, and a little bit. Well, no, I'll still do more coffee memes. Besides, at the end of the day, my wife comes home. I pick her up from the airport on Friday, so and then I'll be back to smashing half a pot of coffee by myself.
and looking for that coffee sponsorship.
Yes, I mean I don't even have to drink it every day to still need the coffee sponsorship.
We're open to the biggest bidder for sure.
Absolutely. So let's see here. We got Dion talking about CBS Sports, and it was hilarious. Why this comes up is he just does the weirdest things in press conferences, and this right here seems a little ridiculous. So let's see. Every time I open this window, it refreshes and then it loses my spot. There we go. All right. So we will share this so that everybody can hear it. There needs to be a faster way to do that. All right.
Tyler, I'm not doing this. The end of that question, I guess. Next guy.
Eric Christensen with CBS Sports Colorado.
CBS,
Tyler,
I'm not doing nothing with CBS. Next question.
Joe Rigo, Mile High
Ain't got nothing
Sports
to do with
Vegas.
you. This is above that. Ain't got nothing to do with you. I got love for you. I appreciate, respect you. Ain't got nothing to do with you. They know what they did.
I'm here in Denver, not national.
You are who you are. CBS is CBS.
All right.
Joe
Ain't got
Rigo,
nothing
Mile
to
High
do with
Sports.
you. I respect you. That's why I told you that. I'm looking you in the eye as a man. I respect you. I got love for you. But what they did was foul.
So the thing that's hilarious about that is what he's complaining about. So for him to take that stance, what he's complaining about is CBS Sports put out a college football coach ranking, and they put him at 61st. And it's funny that he got so mad about it, because what they wrote was no coach has ever generated as much attention with so few noticeable results. Coach Prime came out of the gates hot last season, winning his first 3 games, pulling off upsets of Nebraska and TCU. But the hype cooled off quickly. Both the coaching staff and rosters have been overhauled. We'll soon find out if the second go-round of this grand experiment finds more success. If not, don't know if there will be a third year. He got mad about that. I'm trying to find where the lie is there.
Right. Right.
Because they didn't have good success.
Right. What? First off, I mean, there's so many questions, right? A, where do you think you should be ranked coming off of that season? You know, you didn't go to a bowl game. You certainly weren't in the playoffs. You didn't come anywhere close to winning your conference, your division. You know, your bottom half. I mean,
you weren't even a bowl
top 10
eligible team.
yeah, what do you want, a top 10 ranking on hype? Okay. I had a Colorado guy. Raj and I had a Colorado guy on our show. Okay.
Yeah.
And one of our questions was, what do you think about Dion like as an actual coach? Because we see the hype, we see what he's brought to the program, which undoubtedly, Colorado's in a better spot nationally than they were, just because all eyes are on them, more money's come in,
Of course.
that part of it, I think it'd be tough to argue against. But the on-field results are not there. So
Yeah,
I mean, you expect a high ranking, and the guy even said, "Yeah, I'm honestly not sure what I make of him as a coach yet." Like as far as X's and O's, he was behind last year. So sorry.
No, you're good. Like, I mean, if you're going year over year, there was noticeable step forward, right? Because they were 1-11 team. They won 4 games last year, right? So, I mean, that year over year, that's a big step forward, especially with new coaching regime, all new players, like that part I get. Then you come into this year, and I mean, obviously, who knows what they're going to be, because they've again changed a ton of coaching and changed a lot of players.
Yep.
Now you have players that are leaving that are like, yeah, we want to go to a program that isn't about likes and all of this. And so it makes you really wonder what kind of chaos is happening inside that building.
Right.
And when I believe 68th was the lowest on that ranking pool. But
I mean, use it as fuel, and that's how like the players do, okay, like, hey, I was ranked this low, or they didn't think I'm good. That's fine. But to make a public spectacle of it, and hey, some random reporter who has no idea what you're talking about, it's not you. I'm like, is it? Because it feels like it's me right now.
Exactly. I mean, if you're CBS, do you just like round up your toys and go home? Because I mean, he's not going to talk to you.
Right. And he honestly, I mean, the way that you need the media, you need the attention. So I don't think you want less coverage at any point. And then talking about they know what they did. I doubt they do. I doubt the higher ups at CBS are sitting there worried about Dion's coaching rankings.
I don't think CBS cares.
Yeah. They're like, do we know what we did? Do you know what you don't know what we did either? Okay. Don't know. Don't care. I mean, CBS Sports is going to be fine, Dion. So
yeah, they're not going to get hurt by this at all. And the thing that's funny is if he comes out and is terrible to start, nobody's covering it anyway.
Yeah.
Like all of the flash goes away. Then the narrative goes completely away from the football team. And they're just like, oh, you know what? Maybe he's just not a good coach.
Yeah.
So
round up your toys, but your metaphors are hilarious. Win gets up to be entertained for sure.
Yeah, right. Well, it's because yesterday I made one of I forget what the premise was, but I made one about rice cakes being empty calories. So it gives the illusion of food, but you're still hungry.
Yes. But yeah, I don't get the point of it. I don't get the talk about it in your locker room. They think this about us and fire it up and go out there, but it doesn't have to be this all the time, Yeah,
I mean, I get it's just part of his brand, right? Like he's always stirring the pot, and that's fine. But to alienate an entire network seems kind of wild to me.
Yeah, no, I agree. At some point, you got to bring it down a notch, man, because your players see that and they feed off of it, and it just kind of feeds the whole narrative about your whole program. Like, do you want to break free of that? And then, like you said, all you're doing is putting another eyeball on you. And if you don't at least make a bowl game this year, it's going to look bad. So,
yeah, I mean, I guess at least they went to the Big 12 and not the Big 10.
Yeah.
Right. The Big 12, they have a shot at a bowl game.
Yeah.
The Big 10, they're probably another 4-win team.
Yeah. True.
I mean, the Big 10 there's a ton of talent in that. But
yeah, we did a preview last night of the conferences, and it was like the top 3 or 4 teams for sure. When you get to the Big 12, it's like, yeah. Now Colorado is like their odds to win the division, they're ninth best out there right now. So not expecting a whole lot from them this year. But like I said, from 4 wins to 6 wins, that's not a huge leap. If they make a bowl game, I think that's progress moving forward. But I still do think, especially when you're talking about the coaching rankings, and one guy, the Colorado guy brought up the X's and O's in the end games, he's still not impressed. And something had to go wrong. You changed like your whole coaching staff again after this year. So I wonder if that's just going to be the thing, though. Like, they could go out, win a national championship, and he still changes all his coaches and all his players the next year just because that's what he's used to.
I mean, he might. He might. I mean, it's almost like he feeds on some of the dysfunction. So
right.
It would be a tough place to play, though.
Yes, I agree.
That would be a scenario where I probably would have transferred there, especially as a DB. I would have been like, oh, man, like, that's the guy I want to learn from.
Right.
And then everything we've seen from what it looks like happens there, obviously not in the room, so we don't know for sure, but from what it looks like, I'd be transferring out too. I'd be like, you know what, there's a lot of stuff I could learn, but man, there's some stuff I need to unlearn now.
Yes, I agree. So if you're a player, you transfers into it and then you end up transferring out, do you feel bad for that player, or do you say, look, you should have seen that one coming? Like, you've seen.
No, you don't feel bad. Right? You don't feel bad for him for a number of reasons, right? He was one of the best to ever do it, right? So even if personalities aren't exactly, what you'd want, he has so much football knowledge. You'd want to try it, because when you look at other schools, they don't quite have that success rate at the highest level, as a player. And so as a player coming into college, you want to evolve your game to be able to get to that next level. So I don't really feel bad for him. Once you get there and you realize that it is a train wreck and you transfer out, that's actually where you feel bad for him. Because it's like, this should be a good transition, should be a good place to learn. And if there's just that much chaos that it's not a good place to learn, then yeah, you gotta move on. Right. Like that's where the transfer portal, I don't hate it.
I agree.
So, but yeah, I don't know. Again, we're talking about Deion and we're not talking about football. Like that's the worst part about this is Deion makes more headlines off the field than on the field.
Right. And I think that'll always be the case though with him. Like, he likes the spotlight, and he's changed the program. So, I mean, you want to give him credit for it, but man, at some point the football and the players need to win out. At least that's how I feel. I don't know. Maybe Colorado's okay with the way it goes.
Well, I mean, they're generating more income, which at the end of the day, that's all football is for all these schools anyway. Right. More income than they have in years. So I guess even if they don't win, they're getting the money in the door. Now, I don't know how long they can let him not win and remain the coach. But at the same time, it's been 1 year, so we can't say that he can't win there. I don't know. We'll be watching it again. But if he's bad from the jump, the TVs will start turning away from Colorado football, and the analysts will still have Colorado, on the show. It'll just be how disappointing they are.
Right. I gotcha. And we had actually looked at it. I think next week we're going to take a look. We're doing SEC, but this is how important Deion is. We're going to do a Colorado game-by-game breakdown still anyway, just thrown in with that. Because our boy Big Mike loves Colorado. So we're going to take a look at it, see if we can find 6 wins for him in there.
I mean, they have the ability to get 6 wins. I have to imagine their defense will be better than it was last year. I have to imagine they'll figure out how to run the ball. So, even if there's just improvement in those 2 areas that they were bad at last year, they could win 2 more games. Now, I don't know what bowl game you're going to be eligible for at that point, but
yeah, maybe that Pop Tarts Bowl. What do you have to do to get to that?
You have to exist as a football team, I think.
Works for me. Sorry.
Yeah, that one was a little weird to me last year. The dancing Pop-Tart and
yes.
You got a what do we got?
That's just their
Oh, okay.
schedule.
Oh, okay.
Just their schedule. So even they were kind of like, what's the breakdown for them? How will they win? But like I said, the Big 12 is going to be crazy. So you can probably scratch and claw yourself to 6 wins anyway, I would think.
Yeah,
But-
I mean that's what I was thinking, because I don't see like they'll lose to Utah and Arizona probably. North Dakota they can win. Nebraska they probably don't win. I know they beat them last year, but I don't know if they beat them this year. Colorado State's probably a win.
See, it's like a lot of kind of like, I'm not 100%. You know what I mean? Just because it's the Big 12, so
Like
it can be a.
That's
you
not
can
a
see-
terrible schedule.
No, well, it's because Big 12, and they're out of conference was like Nebraska and North Dakota State. Although North Dakota State, at the FCS level, has won like, I don't know, 5 or 6 in a row or something like that. So even the Colorado guy was like, you couldn't have scheduled a better, because that's the one of those giant killer kind of teams. So that games means everything to North Dakota State, and for Colorado, you're like, this is one we just can't lose. Like winning gets us nothing, but losing, you're a headline. So.
Even if it's
Probably
close,
true.
it's a headline.
Yes. So, I don't know. It's definitely manageable. I would think if he doesn't make a bowl game, that's a huge disappointment. And then you do start to wonder about the last part of that article. I don't think there's any way he gets fired after 2 seasons. But
There's no
is that
chance.
a hot seat? Let's say they win 4 games again. Hot seat going into year 3. That'd be interesting.
Well, it'd be heating up. I mean, it's going to be hard to get them to fire Dion unless he just, takes it back to a 1-win team,
Right.
because he brings so many other things to the school. He's not your normal coach.
Right.
There's always so much media and money that follows that it'll be hard for a school to let him go. But if he has another 4-win season, that is a huge disappointment. Even if he's
you're losing Shador and Travis Hunter
after this year, exactly. So then say he gets to a bowl game. Does he stay, or does he become the new coach of the Cowboys?
Jerry Jones and Dion's egos in the same building.
Bring the chaos.
Will not coexist. Especially when he tries to finagle to Dak's gone and he tries to get Shador over there. Like, this is. The world is not ready.
I don't think that would be hard for them to get Shador, though, because of just things that Dion has said along the way. Like, I'm not going to let him go to some places, and didn't outline where those places were, but he's like, yeah, there could be an Eli situation. It's just like, okay, like that's not a great precedent for a kid you're trying to get in. You keep saying number 1 overall, but if you're talking about places you're not going to let him go, somebody drafting 1st overall is going to be a little leery of doing it.
Right.
So if he ends up being, honestly, Shador, if he plays similar to how he did last year, he will probably go. It'll probably be a 1st-round pick, but it'll probably be like in the 20s.
Right.
And if that's the case, that's probably about where Dallas will be picking.
Yeah,
So,
I agree with that.
I mean, I don't think they'd actually have to do anything to go get him. But yeah, Dion and Jerry Jones in the same organization sounds like it would be hilarious.
Yes. I mean, I would tune in every week.
Absolutely. I am here
Did you
for
watch
it.
the game? No, but I watched the post game. I watched
Exactly.
the interviews. I watched all that. I watched everything but the game. It was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, how long do you think till Dion would get fired there? I'd give it 3 years. And at that point, they would want to choke each other out all the time.
Yes. You'd have some kind of cage match going on or something. Jerry Jones would pick a representative.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe not. It would be like, Thunderdome. He would just be riding on someone's back. Master Blaster.
Oh, I am here for it.
So staying in college, kind of. Jim Harbaugh, his suspension has been levied by the NCAA, which is the most pointless suspension ever. This is actually what the rice cakes came up about.
Okay.
Because this suspension is empty calories because it's a 4-year. He's going to be with LA longer than that. Almost called him San Diego. He'll be there longer than that. But I mean, even if he wants to go back, by the time he would go back, nobody would think about it. Like,
Right.
it wouldn't, be barely a footnote the week that he signed somewhere. The only thing that, is of note, I guess, is he's not going to be the honorary captain for the opening game.
Like we're just trying to forget the whole thing now all of a sudden. Like,
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I wonder if that has to do a little bit with the suspension coming down. So maybe he doesn't want to mar the
the whole thing.
the opening ceremony of the season, which I
Right.
I can respect that actually. Or it could have been just something as simple as he has practice that day,
Right.
so he's not going to be up there in Michigan.
Yeah. I think Mike, I just texted Mike because he had a great comment on ours last week. There's something to the effect of like that's like getting fired from your job after you've already put in your 2-week notice or something like that. I don't want to get his exact quote wrong, so if he sends it back to me, but that's like the Harbaugh thing. I mean, he's already gone. We already know how these things work in college too. Anyway, the whole sanctions. The players that are there now and had nothing to do with it, or whenever they finally get around to doing the whole thing, another year or two, those are the people that suffer for the whole thing. Harbaugh's like, I got a title. I got an NFL job out of it. I'm good. I love his comment. I knew nothing about it. What's he going to say? I mean,
Of course he's going to say,
I masterminded the whole thing.
right? Like none of those guys are going to come out and be like, yeah, I cheated.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
sorry.
So sorry, not sorry. We got a title. I mean, it's funny the way the NCAA works, the way the whole thing works. But if I'm Harbaugh, I don't care. I've got a nice NFL job. And like you said, he's going to be there almost guaranteed throughout the length of this whole thing. So who cares? And we had
for him to get fired in those 4 years would be kind of crazy, right?
I agree.
I mean,
Considering what he's replacing.
Exactly. And Staley had, a couple years of it. So, I mean, like you can be bad and make all the wrong decisions and be there for a couple years. 4 years is nothing. And even if he somehow got fired after the 3rd season, so what, he's got to take a year off, he probably would anyway.
Right.
So
probably go be a commentator, do something, or like you said, just do nothing and collect that NFL paycheck. That's what I would do. So no, I think he'll be fine. Plus, I mean, he's in a division with Pat Mahomes, so he's got a built-in excuse for certain things. So it's like, we couldn't win we all would have most wanted if it went for Mahomes. It'll be stuff like that. He's gonna stick around for a while. He'll ride this whole thing out. An interesting point on the I don't know how much we were going into it, but the Michigan guy from last night, John from Cinco Squad, thank you for coming on. He said he didn't want an internal hire for the next coach because of this whole thing. He was like, I'm hoping we would go outside it and get somebody totally new and nobody associated with the whole thing because of the scandal and because of things coming down. So like more the coach now, he's going to get in trouble with somebody. He's already got stuff coming out and deleted text. So something else happens. He's like, that just further mars the program versus if you'd gotten a totally new guy outside it who wasn't there, at least the program would be in trouble, but that individual wouldn't be in trouble. So I thought that was an interesting take on the whole thing too, as well.
no, that's smart. That makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
I didn't think about the fact that they did elevate a coach there. That
Right.
does create some problems because people had to know at some level.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the fact that Harbaugh says he doesn't is hilarious because
Right.
as the leader, you either knew and are lying about it, or you're not great at your job because you're supposed to know things. Right. That means you have rogue elements in your leadership. That's not exactly awesome.
Right.
So,
Right. One of your like with Moore, it was 52 texts to Connor that they found deleted. So it's like, all right, why'd you delete him? Why was there 52? And why is it like he's the center of this whole controversy and you were sending the messages? So that's already an assistant that you had. And then at some point you're going to tell me that all your assistants were doing it and gaining all this extra information, and you had no questioning why they were all of a sudden super prepared for certain things in games, and you're just listening to the headset. They're like, oh, it looks like they're about to run this such, and you're just like, oh, these guys are really good. Like, come on, man. No, nobody ever said anything about it. Come on.
Well, I mean, you can blame Tony Romo for that. His first 2 years in the booth, right? And, so his first 2 years in the booth, he was calling plays as they were running out. So, plausible deniability, right? It should be like, no, I'm just that good. Like,
right. And can I say one thing about this too? Some of the teams that they were doing the spying on, I almost feel like it was just to see if they could do it, like a test run, like the Central Michigans of the world. I was like, you didn't think y'all were going to beat them anyway? Like,
right.
I feel like it should have picked like 2 or 3 games a year. Okay, we're going to do this for Ohio State and like nobody else. I don't even understand the whole thing. So,
especially because that team was so talented, they didn't need to do it anyway.
Right.
Right. Like it makes me think of Ndamukong Suh, right? He didn't need to be dirty.
Right.
Dude was an elite player. He just was anyway.
It's like it's how he grew up, so he just could never get away from it. So
right?
like you're good now. Yeah.
Yeah, like he's out there like, I'm the biggest, I'm the fastest at what I do, but I'm gonna stomp on you anyway.
Just because I can. Like, all right. I mean, that's how you feel like playing the game, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that was Michigan. It was they were so talented they didn't need to cheat. But I mean, I guess realistically you could say the same thing about some of those Patriots teams where
I was wondering if that was going to get the parallel in there.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have to, right? Because some of those Patriot teams were no joke. They were talented teams. And then you still mar that season with, potential cheating situations. It's like the roster's talented enough that there's no way you needed to cheat.
Right.
Now, I get any given Sunday, somebody can come beat you, but come on.
Right. And that's, what is the response to one of the cheating scandals to go blow out everyone? I was like, so you already had it in you to go do this and, almost have a perfect season after one of these scandals comes out. So I'm like, why didn't you just do that the whole time anyway? Like, you had to be a little angry? Oh, they called us cheating. Now let's blow everybody out. And there's some poor Jets team in week 5 getting blown out by 30 going, we didn't, like, what? We didn't have anything to do with it. Why are you mad at us?
We know you weren't filming our practice.
So we don't even film our own practices.
We throw the game film away. We're not trying to see that stuff.
Yeah. So I don't know. Some of these guys, when they're on top, I guess they just feel like they've got to do anything to stay there, but nah. Sometimes your talent just wins out and you'll be fine.
Yeah. I mean, when you have enough talented players, even if the chemistry isn't quite right, you can go get one. You won't win multiple because you won't be able to keep like the heads in check, but you can go get one.
Right.
Now, if you have a good team, you can win multiple. But if you got just a lot of talent, you can tear one good season off. In their case, they had a lot of talent and a culture that was, we're going to go win.
Yeah. Yep. And that's how they were able to plug people in even when they lost some of that talent. So Bill Belichick loved you until he didn't. And it was like, time to grab the next person.
Yep. Yeah, he loved you until it was a year before your drop-off.
Yep.
And then he'd trade you away. You'd ball out somewhere, and then your career would end.
Yes.
It was like the kiss of death if you got sent away.
Yes. Bill's like, we got to trade you. No.
Please don't end my career.
It's like, sorry, see it coming. Loved you while you were here, man.
Yep.
You're always welcome back.
And you're going to go, and you're going to have a Pro Bowl season, and then you are going to ride off into the darkness.
Yep. If you can ball out next year and get one last contract, get as much guaranteed money as you can, because
That's
it's
right.
about to be over with. Sorry, man. I've seen the future.
Yep. As much as you can get and all up front.
Yes. So, and in the fourth year, whoa. No.
You ain't making that. You ain't making that.
No.
It might as well be a voidable year.
Yes.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So, jumping, since that was kind of straddling the line of college and the NFL, JJ McCarthy already hurt.
Oh.
Already hurt. And, it's funny because I didn't really see anything that made it look like he was going to get hurt the way that he is. So it just had to be the way he planted, because he did, plant and throw and bring his leg up kind of weird. But then he had swelling for, 3-4 days, goes in, gets a MRI of the knee, and has a meniscus tear. If they're lucky, which it didn't sound like they were going to be, but if they were lucky, you're 4 to 6 weeks out. If it is a full-on knee surgery, which is the way they made it sound without actually saying it, he won't be available until mid-November, maybe, which means, he's not going to play. But at the same time, I didn't think he should probably play this year anyway.
Right.
He seemed like a guy that would have been best fit to have the clipboard. And now you don't have to worry about pressure from fans making you do that early.
Right. No, and I agree. My stance has always been, if your rookie quarterback can sit out a year, now obviously I wouldn't always be right. CJ Stroud,
Sure.
People would bring that one up on me. But I feel like for the most part, if you can let your rookie quarterback, that's one of those positions like, hey, the longer you can wait, you'll still be fine. So I didn't think there was any pressure, honestly, to play him. I mean, what's the worst that Sam Darnold goes out there? He's terrible. You're probably slated for last in your division anyway. So it's not a horrible year. You did lock down Justin Jefferson anyway, and you can just kind of sell them on, look, quarterback of the future is coming up. We'll be all right. We're going to get another high draft pick to add some other pieces. Like, let's have a little patience. In 1 year, we'll kind of be back in the thick of things. So I do hate it for him, though, man. I hate injuries for anybody, but especially for a guy who's, we're still trying to figure out what he is. He gets out there, he's playing well in a preseason game, possibly does push for it. I know he's a competitor. I know he's not thinking like us. I want to get out there this first year. And let's be honest, the Sam Darnold hill isn't that big to where he couldn't get over there. I could see week 6, week 7, or after a bye, like, all right, we're sending McCarthy out there because it's been awful. So I hate it for him, though. I'd rather have him out there healthy and have a shot at the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, obviously nobody wants to see injuries. Well, except maybe Sam Darnold, but
So I'm like, oh, are you all right?
Oh, sorry, buddy. Now, and Sam Darnold's going to be interesting to watch moving forward, because this is going to be his first team that he's a starter of. It's actually a decent team. Right. It's one of the things I laughed about when you guys had your show on Monday was, how anti Darnold the conversation was. And he played for the Panthers and the Jets.
Right.
That is not a recipe for success. Think of all the people that have been drafted to the Jets and how their careers have gone. Not awesome, right? Like, that place is dysfunction top to bottom. So then he goes to the Panthers.
Do we have to
also wild dysfunction in that building? So his only other stop was he was a backup, which that doesn't count. Yeah, it was for the Niners, but you didn't get a play, so who cares? Because otherwise we're talking about Jimmy Garoppolo. He's a Super Bowl winner if we're playing that game. Like,
no, I was because he'll have, I said, well, we've seen Addison, Jefferson, Hockenson, like, he has some of the best group that he's going to throw to. And Jefferson will make a bad quarterback look good. He is that good and will make that many tough catches to where, and then again, this is also a non-pressure situation. They're not saying, "Hey, Darnold, we need you to go for 300 every game." We're just like, just make us look competent, make us look like we're competing. You'll probably steal a game or two that we shouldn't, but we're not slated for anything. So this is kind of a almost no pressure year for you. You're not the quarterback of the future. So maybe you're just playing for your next contract, truly, but just get out there and have some fun, man. Throw up some stuff, make yourself look good. But no, I was on board with that. I like the skill positions for the Vikings, so I think he'll be fine there.
Yeah, and I mean that defense really came on towards the end of last year. So if they're anything like that, and as long as they're not like how they started the season on defense, they'll be a competitive team, right? They're not going to be great. They're not going to compete for their division, most likely.
Because I think I still picked them to be last in their division. So
yeah, I mean, I think I have them and the Bears kind of in the same place, but but that being said, like they're going to be a competitive team. They're going to win games they shouldn't. And they're going to lose games they shouldn't. Mm-hmm. Like that's the kind of team that this feels like it's going to be. So I don't know, but that they're mad they didn't go get Penix now because Penix looked good.
Yes, that still is one of the stranger developments to me. Anyway, is where he ended up and where he didn't end up. So I thought he was one of the most pro-ready guys coming out there for sure.
Oh, no question. No question. He threw the best ball for sure out of everybody that was coming out. So then if Cousins isn't ready, which realistically he's probably not going to be week 1, you have Penix come out and ball out. I don't care how much you're paying Cousins. You can't put him in, right?
No.
You got to stick with the guy that's doing the job.
Yep.
So then before the trade deadline, do they trade Cousins back to Minnesota?
Oh my goodness.
Because that would be hilarious.
You sound like a mad scientist, like concocting the scene. Like whenever they say the script writers, like you cut to a shot of Bo over there, and he's like, "Yes,
make it burn."
That would be amazing. See, I hadn't kept up with the Kirk Cousins part of it, so I didn't realize that he might not be ready. I honestly just wasn't thinking of it, but it's kind of like remember when we were talking about I think the Jimmy G and the 2-game suspension and where he would go to or whatever. Mirrors that to where you can't start your rookie and then like sit them down the second the veteran comes back.
Exactly.
Like if they start off good, you got to leave them out there because you risk 2 things. If they start off bad the first 2 and then you bench them, are you gonna ruin them early? But if they start off great, yeah, you gotta let them go.
So I don't think so. This is where this is unique, right? If you have a starter, a veteran starter,
right,
and you start your rookie anyway. And then you bench him for the guy, but he was available the whole time.
Right.
That's a confidence crusher. If you send Penix out there and he's getting killed, Cousins comes back. Well, Cousins was the incumbent starter. He was the guy that was supposed to be starting. He just wasn't available. So that's not really that, oh, we believe in you, just kidding. That's you're holding it down until our starter gets here. You're our guy in the future. But this is our guy today. So I think this one is a unique enough situation that you can start him and then sit him down and not crush him the way if Cousins was there the whole time and you're like, you know what, you won the job. Just kidding. So
let's say Cousins comes back week 4 and the first 3 games of the year, Michael Penix over 300 yards, 3 touchdowns each game. He's got the job, right?
Of course. Yeah, I mean, you can't not have him in there. Plus, that before they play their first primetime game, no matter how Cousins is playing, every one of those fans would be like, put Penix in.
Yes.
The game is after 7. No. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, they're going to be fun to watch. They're going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, for all the wrong reasons. And, oh, by the way, you have a chance to win your division, and now your biggest question mark is like, what are we doing at quarterback all of a sudden? So I guess it's a good thing good question to have, though.
I mean, you spend that kind of money and get a high draft pick, and you're still not sure what you're doing at QB. Is that good? Like, I feel like
Sounds
that's
like the
not great.
Falcons to me. I mean,
Well, I mean, yes.
yes. Not known for their good decisions of late. They're still trying to figure out what Bijan Robinson does for them. So this will be an interesting year for them.
Well, they have a new coach though, so I feel like their new coach isn't going to forget that the guy exists on the roster.
Right. We did
Like,
running back rooms, and I picked them as one of my favorite ones or better ones. And I was like, yeah, because I think he'll get used this year. So that's why I'll put them up there.
I like this moniker. Way offsides.
That's one of our Bama guys, man. Yep.
Everybody on the offense.
My favorite though is with everybody except for this one guy. So everyone
except the center.
Yeah.
He forgot to hide the ball. Yep. No, absolutely. So we got Colin Kaepernick coming back and talking about trying to play ball again, which, I mean, at some point, you have to accept the fact that that just is never going to be a thing. And I don't know why they keep giving him airtime for it, because he also obviously doesn't want to play.
Right.
Because he's had opportunities to play in various other leagues to prove he still has the ability.
Right.
I mean, one of the things, you know, whether you think he got blackballed or not, right? And I think to a degree he definitely did. At the same time, he had already lost that starting job anyway. It's not like he was an elite starter that just somehow got bounced out of the league. Like, he had lost his starting role, wasn't playing super good up to that point anyway. And then, you know, everything happens. Don't get me wrong. He definitely got blackballed. There's no way he wouldn't have been able to be a backup somewhere in the league.
Right.
But we're talking a decade later. So, like, at some point, you just have to accept the fact that it's just not a thing. Like, if you want to show anybody that you can still play, go to one of the Euro teams, go to the CFL, go to one of the, you know, UFL teams. Like, show people you can still sling the rock, because at this point, it's been a decade, and your little makeshift walkthrough that you did a few years ago, that you then moved the location and made it super weird. Yeah, I mean, none of that says to any ownership of any team that you're the guy, right? Like, if somebody were to do that to your company, they're like, oh yeah, you fired me a decade ago, but I still want to work here. I want to show you I can still do stuff, but I know you went to this facility where you could see my work, but I actually moved my work to this other city at the same time, so you won't have time to get here. Don't you want to hire me? No, man. No, I don't.
Sometimes I hate talking about the Colin Kaepernick thing, just because people mistake us saying what the situation is now versus like anything back then. Like, yes, we get what you said. Yeah, they definitely blackballed him. That was there. But when they came back out and tried to, you know, extend an olive branch, say, okay, going to give you a workout, we're at least going to, even if they're just going through the motions, you can't make it more difficult on that whole situation. You know, you're asking them for a job back. They were in no hurry to bring you back. So at some point you have to cater to, but it's not like they were asking impossible stuff. Hey, here's a facility. Here's where we're going to invite people to. Here, let's do it. Nah. And then, like you said, with the UFL, that would have been perfect. First off, it's not a long commitment. You know, it's not like some huge thing. Go out there, play a little. If you still got it, somebody will notice you. And if you don't, then you don't. And it's almost like it's putting my name out to show people that I'm still trying, but maybe I actually don't really have it, and I don't want to be a failure. So I'm gonna make it look like, hey, I'm just bringing attention to the NFL did me wrong, and then I'm gonna step back away again. Versus, hey, I really want a job.
I mean, and that's what it is at this point, right? Is, hey, I want the cameras on me, I want, you know, whatever, but you're not legitimately trying to get a job.
Right.
Because there's so many other avenues to be able to showcase your skill set. You just being like, I want a job. Cool. You're going to like apply or like show us what you, nope. not at all. It's like, I mean, it's just, it doesn't work anywhere else. So I don't know why it would work at the highest level of a professional sport.
Right. And like you said, he was kind of on the downturn anyway.
Yeah.
He's not doing terrible. I'm looking at like his net worth is still like 20 to 22 million. So it's not like he's sitting there, he's not eating McDonald's every day. No, shout out to McDonald's, if you do want to sponsor us for anything.
Man,
But-
it's not even cheap anymore.
Yeah. True. The dollar menu is like
Have you bought
$5.
fast food? I was so mad. I went to Subway. It cost me $20. I'm like, what happened to the
Yeah.
$5 footlong?
Yes, there is. Yeah, the price grew and the sandwich shrunk. That's
Right?
what happened to it.
I don't know what's happening right now.
Let's just say the economy not good.
Well, so maybe he does need a job.
Maybe
goes.
so.
Having a hard time paying his property taxes.
Yeah. Wait till they start taxing air somehow. Like I know someone is working on that somewhere right now.
No question. Yeah.
Yeah. But with the original, like it's just becoming a circus, and you're kind of losing your original message gets lost in all this. I feel like with every misstep afterwards, you know what I mean? Like what you were trying to do and bring, eyeballs to at the first, that was great. Now you're just making yourself look terrible. So
Yeah. I mean, especially because there's ways that you can show people you want that job.
Yep.
Instead of, here, let me find a media person that is clearly having a slow day and be like, hey, I'm still working out. It's like, yeah, I'm 43. Like, I'm still working out. I can't go play DB anywhere.
Oh man.
I could say I can.
Right.
And
But just do like he is. Hey guys, I want to work out for your team. Okay, great. 9:00 Wednesday. Ooh. That
yeah, I
doesn't
got
really
a
work for
thing.
me.
I got a thing at the place with the people, so I won't be able to do that.
Right.
Yeah. No, it's
I'll send you some tape of me throwing in my backyard and take
Yeah.
a look.
and it'll be grainy. It'll be like, is this from 10 years ago though? Like,
And they'll be looking at it. Is Bo black?
right? Do you have hair? Like,
What is going on in this picture?
are you on TV photoshopped every day? Is that? Yeah, no, it's, I don't know. I mean, at some point, like in a way, I want someone to just take a flyer on him just so we
Yes,
can
that's it.
be done with the conversation,
Right.
right? Let him go out there and say he's good. Cool. Awesome.
The Panthers should do it. What do they got to do?
So, yes, they should. And for no other reason than I want to see the interactions between Kaepernick and Tepper.
Oh yeah. I'm here for it.
Let's go.
If we could have a world where Kaepernick and Tepper and Dion and Jerry Jones are all together, I will must see TV. I'm signing up for whatever I got to sign up for.
Yeah, I believe there was a TV show that it was called Celebrity Deathmatch.
I'm there for it. Let's bring it back.
That's what that would become. and when you are not wrong,
Yes.
that's true with every fast food commercial ever,
Yeah.
with the exception of pizza. A lot of times does look better than the pictures because pizza does not photograph very well.
Yes. Yes.
But
Am I dating myself? Does anybody remember the movie Falling Down? Michael Douglas, just basically walking around the streets with a gun and complaining about random stuff. And one of the things he does is go into a fast food place and he orders a pizza. And the food is like, why does it look like this? Like, what am I getting here? Like, what's going on? Yeah, the stuff that they do to those the commercials or the pictures and half-cooked stuff and put pins in it to keep up. I'm like, they just got you in the door. It's a bait and switch.
Oh yeah, well that's like a lot of like cereal commercials. It's glue. It's not even milk in there because milk kind of gets translucent with the camera on it.
Right.
So yeah, like it's like Elmer's glue to keep it that white. That's why anytime you see someone actually eat out of the bowl, it's not a bowl you can see through. Because otherwise it would look so gross.
Right. Yep, I'm with it.
So Olympics are over. Team USA basketball pulls off the gold. And the most hilarious narrative I keep hearing is that somehow this team is the best team ever. I'm guessing they didn't watch any other Olympics ever.
Right. Right.
Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot more parity around the world for basketball. That's fair. But you can't tell me this team was better than our 92 Dream Team.
Right.
You can't.
Yep. And even Raj was trying to, he said his comparison to 92 would be more like the 2008 Redeem Team, where you had like a younger LeBron and a Kobe Bryant and stuff like that. He's like, this team, it always bothers me and stuff like this anyway, because first off, everyone's going to go with the team that they see. So like those of us who grew up with like the 92 team and stuff, we're going to pick them. But everybody who grows up now acts like there's no footage and no anything of those teams, right? Like they just existed in the 1800s and was playing like three other teams, you know?
Even if there wasn't footage, they beat everybody by 30 points.
Yes, you know, but it's like, but they weren't playing anybody. So which one is it? They're were they just not good? Like all those guys. So Michael Jordan, Matt Johnson, those just scrubs. Is that what we're saying? No, they were amazing. It was the first thing he did it. That whole thing was legendary. Can you not just let it be and try to enjoy, I'm not sitting there watching Steph pull off, all those heroics and then the game's going, man, this is the best team ever. I was just like, I'm enjoying this game. Good job, USA. Get the gold,
Yeah, well, and you wouldn't have to be pulling off those heroics if you guys were playing good basketball before. Right? I mean, the fact that you barely beat a team in, just the pool rounds that hasn't had a team, didn't have a team the last Olympics.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, it's a narrative I can't wrap my head around. It's I do always laugh at the, oh yeah, that team just wasn't good. How do you figure? You're talking about a guy that was on that team that is still 90% of people's greatest of all time.
Right. With a lot of, and see, that's why I always hate when they do across decades. People just forget the other people. And it's like people forgot Magic Johnson existed. Yep. Guess what? Magic Johnson's all time great. Like I don't know why this is kind of a forgotten thing. So it's Larry Bird, if his back wasn't hurting, would have been an all time. Larry Bird would love today's rules and with the 3-point line, he would be killed out there. So it's just like stuff like that. Why can't you just try? I'm proud of the team. I'm glad they got gold. Their biggest stars stepped up at the biggest moments. So just enjoy what's here. But they do it across all sports. It's not just the Olympics. That's just the latest one. Anytime somebody does anything good, like, is he the greatest ever? I don't know. Why can't he just be the best right now? And let's just see where his career goes. Just a thought.
Yeah, I mean, there's always the recency bias, right?
Yes.
I mean, this is the greatest thing I've seen today, so that's the greatest ever. It's like, that is not how that argument works at all.
No.
Greatest ever has like a lot of things to it.
Yes. I mean, they were doing it during the playoffs with Anthony Edwards. Oh, is he the next Jordan? It's like, hadn't been to the finals yet. Like, what are we even talking about here? You know? And he's coming off the bench for the Olympic team and didn't really get any run in the last game. So how about we just slow down everything right now? So
that might be my favorite thing is there's always this heated argument about, is LeBron better? Is Jordan better? Right. They go back and forth. Obviously you're not going to change anybody's mind. Right.
Right.
But then when the next big star coming through pops up, this lets you know who people really think is the greatest of all time, because their next comment is that the next Jordan? Not the next LeBron, not the next KD. They're like, is this the next Jordan? Is he going to take over the league? It's like, well, there you go.
You're going to get us canceled, though, by all the LeBron fans. They're gonna
that's fine.
So,
they don't get up this early anyway.
This is true. They'll be up around 10. But honestly, what the Olympics kind of really did is solidify Jokic as one of the best
Yeah.
This is a guy who might finish his career, like a top 10, top 5 all time. I mean, he's carrying that Serbia team. And it was funny because before the game too, he blew out Serbia 2 games earlier, I think in pool play and in just exhibitions.
Mhm.
And Steve Kerr was like, yeah, I think they're playing possum a little bit. I think we're going to see something different. And all of a sudden, it was like Jokic not leaving the floor.
Yep.
Everyone on his team better. Like, if you look at talent for talent, Team USA is blowing away Serbia.
Sure.
But you put Jokic on the floor, and all of a sudden, things are even, and you've got to have a flurry at the end
Yep.
just to win. So, for me, that was one of my bigger takeaways. Like, he's the real deal.
Mhm.
So,
Oh, there's no question. I mean, the international players have gotten so much better.
yes.
Right. So, I mean, I will not discount the fact that the talent around the world is far greater than it was back in 92.
Yep.
There's no question. Still, just because this is the one that won gold this week does not make them the greatest Olympic team ever.
Right. I agree. Also, got to give a quick shout out to the women for pulling out their game as well by 1 point. Interesting enough that both games, men and women's, was USA versus France. So where's everybody else doing? Like, I know France is the host company, the host country, but come on, guys. But that was a nice one as well. You win by 1 because girl who hits the game tying shot had her foot on the line, didn't realize where she was. So she could have tied it up, banks a shot in, and looks around and is like, 2? They're like, yeah, you're kind of clearly both feet on the line. Sorry. So, but nice for both basketball teams to bring home the gold. And I know we don't have time for it, but I'm going to throw it out. I had a writer who was interacting with people earlier on, and all of he was doing was bringing up Caitlin Clark arguments. So I was like, these women have to bring gold home because I don't want to hear it. So.
Oh, could you imagine?
No.
Had they not?
Yeah.
That would have been a disaster.
Yes.
Because
and
then
she would have been the whole reason.
For sure. It would have been her and Reese. Why weren't they on this team? And that would have leaked into the second half of the WNBA season that I think starts this coming week, right?
Yes, tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Yep, they start back tomorrow. Yep.
Yeah.
And I agree. And I like both players, and I love what they're going to do for future Olympics and for the future of the league. But can we stop making me dislike all conversations about them right now? Because it's just too much.
Yeah. I mean, because they're both great, right?
Yeah.
No question. Like, nobody's debating that. But not every loss is because they weren't on the team.
Right.
Let's calm down a little bit. Their teams are not undefeated.
Right. But there's always an excuse for that. But okay. I know we don't have time to get into it. It's just one of those things. So congrats to both basketball teams, man. I'm happy they both brought home gold.
That's right. And U.S. Olympic team, in general, they come back with tied for the most golds and clearly the leader in overall medals. So congratulations to our U.S. Olympic team as a whole. Other than that, get you back to your day. Thanks for coming to play. Let everybody know where they can find you.
You see our Twitter handle there, Raj and Herb, Herb and Raj Podcast on YouTube. And every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Central Time. And also next Monday, 8 p.m. Central Time, Bo will be joining us along with Sarah to do an NFL recap. Our college football took over our regular show, so we had to make a whole nother night for NFL. So looking forward to that.
Yep, that's going to be a
Cowboys
fun show
bashing though.
Yeah, well, I mean, you don't even have to. Now you're just like, sorry, buddy.
Yeah, I feel bad for Sarah. She's just like, I don't know what to tell you guys.
Yep. Nope. It's and they can't sign anybody, so that is making it even worse. But that's a conversation for next week. If you are watching here on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe. Helps us bring our content to you. And of course, if you are watching on Roku, stay tuned for the next hour. Other than that, see y'all next week.